Hey everybody, it's Moonhorse again. Coming in just before this video with a little bit of information. We're talking about the University of Utah healthcare program. A friend of mine is not doing well and needs you guys, if you can, to look into this program, donate if you can, help out if you can. They're looking for, donations, people who can do live kidney transplants, the whole thing. This is a very good cause, and it's very, very important. So if you guys have anything you can do to help, or any way that you can help at all, please do. It would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to everybody. It's not just me. It's about everybody. Everybody's in this together, so we should all put together to actually do something. Like, if you're interested, or you have any way that you can possibly get in touch with this, or if you're in the area and you can do something to help out, you can contact them at uofulivingdonor.org. Or you can contact them at the phone number 801-587-8816. If you're interested in helping my friend specifically, when you get through to somebody or you're talking to somebody, ask for Corinne C. Powell. That's who needs the help right now. It's this person who asked me to kind of help out, not just for her, but for everybody. So if you want to help out, you want to contribute to a good cause, you want to do something good, really help these people out. They could use it. Alright, so now on with the show. Okay, I'm going to read something which might be a really bad idea, because we're actually, Sango and I are going to go see Ninja Sex Party in August. We have tickets to their concert in New Orleans. But, I started thinking about this, and yeah, I kind of need to read this. I may be able to get all the chapters in one video. We're going to find out. So, this is a special kind of fanfic that I'm going to read to you. This is special because it was written by Ninja Brian himself. and let's see. I'm going to read a little bit of history about this before I start reading it. So, the fanfic was first mentioned in public in the Steam Train episode Tunnel of Love, where Ross reads the beginning of the fanfiction, only to make Danny embarrassed. Around the same time, Brian is supposed to have uploaded the entire fanfiction to Ninja Sex Party's website around August of 2013. When the Steam Train episode was uploaded March 2014, fans discovered the entire fanfiction on Ninja Sex Party's website, which led to Brian to remove the content, replacing it with a quote from Vladimir Nabokov's Pale Fire. A thousand years ago, 5 minutes were, equal to 40 ounces of fine sand. Outstare the stars, infinite for time, infinite after time, above your head. They close like giant wings, and you are dead. However, the fans' effort to archive the entire fanfiction made it unforgettable in many fans' hearts. This is The Beej by Ninja Brian. Chapter 1. I've never done this before, at least not with another man, said Danny as he entered Brian's luxurious penthouse apartment overlooking Central Park. The smell of pure, undiluted testosterone was nearly overpowering, although Danny was determined to continue through towards what he imagined would be the most intense physical pleasure he had ever experienced. There's a footnote. Hold on, I have to click the footnote. He was correct. I'm so glad I clicked that. Brian just nodded and motioned Danny towards the trapdoor to the Beechatorium. It was going to be one hell of a Tuesday night. Chapter 2. Danny opened the trapdoor to reveal a staircase covered in the finest velvet, leading into the darkness below. The strains of Passage to Bangkok wafted through the air, played by the stereo system on Brian's private helicopter, which was stationed just outside the window of the apartment, hovering, waiting. Danny began to head down the stairs, but quickly stopped when he realized that Brian was no longer behind him. Danny looked around the room and quickly found Brian relaxing on the first chaise lounge, just below the crystal chandelier, slowly applying layer upon layer of his vanity brand lip balm. Transient decadence. Now it was Danny's turn to beckon to Brian, who put the cover on his lip balm and placed it prominently in his front right pocket. To the outline of its hard cylindrical plastic case formed a delicate protuberance, visible through the waist fringes of his professionally tailored leather pants. Brian fixed his gaze on Danny, slowly rose up out of the chaise, and playfully yet brusquely pushed Danny down the stairs in a way that was initially not cool, but gradually became cool. As Danny tumbled down the velvet, a sly smile crept across his face as he realized that this evening was going to be about one thing, and one thing alone. Him. Chapter 3. Next, darkness. Danny awoke slowly. He could not tell how much time had passed, perhaps only seconds, but possibly hours. Although Danny's eyes had not yet adjusted to the darkness around him, he could sense movement. The stench of man sweat assaulted his tendril nostrils, much in the same way that he would soon have his junk assaulted by Brian's eager, probing mouth. Okay. He could still faintly hear Rush playing in the darkness, but the song had moved on to a live version of Tom Sawyer, which the band had played at Brian's celebrity-filled 35th birthday party held on the international waters on a chartered yacht captained by supermodels. As his limbs brushed against the 500 thread count satin velvet sheets, Danny realized that he was in Brian's custom-made solid oak bed. Somebody must have gently placed him there while unconscious. And although he had no memory of the event, he appreciated the tender way in which he had been tucked in, stripped of all his clothes, given a full-body shave, rubbed down with a white rose petals, and patted dry. Suddenly, the sound of freshly moistened lips smacking together rang through the darkness. A shadow approached the bedside. It was Brian. He was carrying the glow-in-the-dark lotion sampler given to him by President Obama, a personal friend. "I see you're already hard," winked Brian. "Good. You'll be needing that." Chapter 4. This is getting weird. Slowly yet violently, Brian placed his perfectly manicured right hand on the sheet covering Danny and ripped it off the bed, throwing it so that it landed in a perfectly folded pile next to the extensive collection of erotic Gregorian sculpture Brian acquired on his many all-expensive paid trip to Europe. Brian squirted an inappropriately large amount of lotion into his velvety, grabby palms. Then he softly moaned with anticipation, boredom, or one of his many other irrelevant, underinteresting emotions. Brian brusquely slapped his lotion-filled hands onto Danny's hairy, unflattering thighs, and slowly began to rub in small circular motions, while whispering the lyrics to Journey's song, "Any Way You Want It," which Brian had ghost-written by himself, with no help. Oh my god. As Danny's thighs got moister and moister, Brian's hands worked their way up into Danny's poorly maintained man bush. And just as Brian was about to take a one-way trip to Sacktown, he paused. "It is time!" screamed Brian, slamming his open mouth onto Danny's erect and unimpressive penis. And he passed out from pleasure/terror/nobody cares. And so it began. Chapter 5. 10.3 million years later, Danny awoke on the surface of Gropnuus 7 in the #butt system. Robot Brian was asleep on top of him, his metal mouth surrounding Danny's still erect and not very impressive dick. "What happened?" Danny asked stupidly, scratching his dumb face. "Where are we now?" Robot Brian awoke with a start and began to speak in metallic, commanding voice, not unlike that of a young Benedict Cumberbatch if he had been a robot or whatever. "Danny, many eons have now passed since I first began to beej you." As you well imagine, the beej started out amazingly. Although you were asleep, your body was
racked with pleasure as many human mouth began to expertly work its way around your pallid, distasteful groin. I did everything a man could do to another man, including stuff I had to look up online because I'd never heard of it because it was too gross. And despite all of my mouth efforts, you slept. Cities rose and fell, and still you slept. All of human consciousness was uploaded into a vast database, and our bodies replaced by superior synthetic ones, and still you slept. Even once, I had robot hands and used them to rub you all over, especially in ways I know you would not have been cool with. Had you been awake, still you slept. As Earth blew up for some reason, I carried you to the final escaping starship, my mouth all the while on your disgusting wiener, and took you here to the most distant human colony. As I continued to work you over, still you slept, and gradually, after every other member of the human race had gone, at the pace at which my mouth was bobbing up and down on your eager, boring shaft, slowed, and then I slept. Robot Brian paused and stood. "And now," said Robot Brian, metal hands held out in triumph, "I shall finish you off." Danny gasped in pleasure or something as Robot Brian threw himself towards Danny's gross junk, using it exactly the perfect amount of mouth friction. Robot Brian brought Danny to the brink of ecstasy and then stopped. Once again stood. "Just kidding, bro," laughed Robot Brian. "I'd never give you a real Beej. That'd be gross. High five!" Robot Brian reached out for his hand for an amazing high five. And Danny died. The human race died with him. Well, that wasn't very cool of him, thought Robot Brian to himself as he began masturbating into the sunset. That wasn't very cool at all. The end. I have no idea what the fuck is going on in Brian's head, but this was amazing. Holy shit. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, and I have a Patreon if you want to give me $1 or something. Also, beware of robot beaches. I'm just saying. Okay, bye.